Welcome back, friends. I'm Jasmine, and today I'm having my first guest. I'm so excited about this. I promised him that when I start doing guests on this channel, he was going to be the first one, and I'm a woman of my word. So most of y'all know him because a lot of my early subscribers actually came because I was on your show. And for those of you who don't, he is the king of reality TV. His work has been on BET, WeTV. He set records during his time as the executive producer of The Real Housewives of Atlanta and with his own shows on the Oprah Winfrey Network. And he's also the host of Reality with the King. Yes, a podcast he and I co-executive produced, co-created together. One of my most proud projects that I've ever worked on, a huge podcast. And I'm happy to call him my friend and my mentor, the incomparable Carlos King. Welcome to my
Yes, bitch. Look, now we could be unprofessional,
channel,
child.
Carlos. Oh no, please be unprofessional. This ain't got shit to do with work, okay? We can look, Carlos, we can be our true selves here.
I know. So, guys, just so you know, well, first of all, hi, Jazz. I love you. I'm
Love
proud of you.
you.
Congrats on the
Thank
channel, your
you.
trajectory in establishing and coming into your own. And I'm proud of you. I am a subscriber. And
Thank you.
also, I'm a viewer. So I'm very, very proud of you. But guys, when she was my executive producer on Reality of the King podcast, we instantly fell in love. And I was like, hey, bitch. And I'm like, wait. This is a professional environment. And I don't need anybody saying Carlos is inappropriate at work. Because I was like, I can't call you a bitch during work hours. It has to be after 6 or 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And now, yes, bitch. That's like our text messages, but it's never ever in a disrespectful way. It's all bitch is
No,
a term of endearment to me. That's how I talk to my friends. So
same.
it just is what it is. Well, listen, I got you here today because I want to talk about more housewives, and
Okay.
specifically, I want to talk about the girls over on in my neck of the woods, the Real Housewives of New York City. First, your initial thoughts, because look, I feel like I was either on a call with you or we got on a call shortly after the announcement was made that they were going to do a reboot with a younger, more diverse cast. So I want to ask you two questions.
Mhm.
What was your gut instinct when you heard that? And then has the show kind of met the expectations that you had when you first heard about the news?
Great question. So you and I first heard about this reboot, if you will, the Real Housewives of New York City having a reboot with an all new cast of women who represent New York City in this day and age. In addition to that announcement, it was that RHONY will have a legacy, which will feature some of your favorites. That happened 2 days before I interviewed Ebony K. Williams. So it was hot off the presses. At that time, I thought it was the dumbest idea. I was not a fan of it because I was still in love with the OGs and the people from the original Real Housewives of New York City. Now, one thing about me, bitch, I will always tell y'all when I'm wrong or when I did not get it right. I did watch the first episode and I was wrong. I really did enjoy the first episode. It was a breath of fresh air. I love the cast. It hooked me, it drew me in. And I am happy to report that it was a great idea. It really was.
Okay. So you've been satisfied so far with what you've seen.
Nah, I didn't say all that now, child. Now let's talk because this the thing.
Because
Episode one hooked me, honey, right? I watched episode two, and Jazz, you may disagree. The way you could tell a season is going to be good, guys, let me tell y'all some tea. You gotta watch the first 3 episodes. Because
mm,
just so you know how it works in my business, and I'm gonna say we because we all are involved. We
yeah.
put so much real estate in the first episode to get y'all hooked. Now, the way you know a season is good is if the first 3 episodes are popping. The second episode didn't pop to me. I thought it was too soon for a girls' trip. I'm like, I
Mm.
barely know you girls individually. So to see all you guys together in a house, who wants to watch off season Hamptons? Like, Hannah's ain't cute off season. And then I didn't care. So episode 2 did not excite me. Again, my opinion, it was a bad idea to have a girls' trip in the second episode because these are new women. And before
Mhm.
we understand the dynamics of the collective, I first need to be able to understand you as an individual.
Look, I agree with you though, Carlos. Like I was watching episode 1 and I was like, okay, this is cute. You know, like I can get with these girls. They're all cute. They all bring something to the table. But I almost fell asleep on episode 2. And I was like, what are we doing here already? Episode 2. And I was like, is it them? But then I thought to myself, it might be me because I haven't been back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think since
Me
the last
neither.
time
I
I
stopped
talked to you
watching.
about. Yeah, so it's like I haven't been interested at all, and the whole fight with Potomac, I'm just like, I don't even care about that. I think I'm housewived out. I feel like it's just me. I think it's the housewife format that is just not doing it for me. What I will say about this cast is with respect to one of them, I don't feel like they're all like doing the most to try to make a moment. There is
Okay,
one though that I'm just like, is this the
Bryn.
Noel? Yes. Yes. What were your initial thoughts on Bryn? Actually, you know what? No, let's play a game. We're
Okay.
gonna do a really quick rapid fire game. I'm going to say the name of one of the Real Housewives of New York, and I want you to tell me either the first word or first phrase that comes to your mind. I'll give you a couple of seconds to warm up. If you need to take a sip of water, take a sip of water. Put on your thinking cap. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Sigh.
Okay. Because they're so new and they had a girls' trip in the second episode, I'm gonna make sure I get them right. Psy is the black girl model.
The
No.
influencer, Brooklyn babe,
Oh, black girl.
influencer.
Black girl with
Yeah,
the white hair.
yes.
My first thoughts on her bubbly. Has potential to be a good housewife. Very bubbly, very pretty. I like her.
Okay. Jessel, that is the Indian woman from London who hates her husband.
Um, I'm intrigued the fact that she hasn't slept with her husband in over a year. Let me tell you something, honey. If you haven't slept with your man in over a year, that man is sleeping with somebody else, allegedly.
Yeah, no, I mean, you bring up a good point. I feel like the dynamic of their relationship is gonna be really interesting to watch because I, like a lot of people who were tweeting about the show, just don't see them lasting. It doesn't seem like there is any love there. And she seems to look down on him. Like she talks to him. I would never talk about my man in the way that she talks about her husband. And it's a lack of, oh, the girls are gonna hate me. It's a lack of respect, the way that she
It's
talks
okay.
to and
God,
about him.
ladies, yes, I'm a gay man, but I'm gonna speak too. Ladies, is it not okay to respect your man anymore? Like you
You
should, it
shouldn't.
should go both ways. Y'all should respect each other. No
Exactly.
man wants to be emasculated. No woman should be talking down to. We all need to respect each other. So I think it's okay, Jazz. But again, I don't have vagina child, but I am a Barbie.
I don't know. Look, the girls haven't called me a pick me yet, but I know it's coming. I know it's coming one of these days. Just spare me. Anyway, Jenna Lyons.
Overhyped.
Ooh,
Overhyped.
tell
Um,
me more.
You mean to tell me a new reality star, a new housewife can join a show
I know
and
where you're going.
tell the world, the producers, and they're okay with it? I do have a girlfriend. Y'all won't see her. Then I said, you won't see you being greenlit to be a part of the show. It's one thing if you're, I'll give it a good example. Melody Holt on my show, Love and Marriage Huntsville, who, let's be clear, the show popped off because her and Martell was going through something deep. And
Mhm.
Melody gave every ounce of her personal story. So it was okay when Melody said to me this past season, 6 years in, I am dating, but I want to figure it out, Carlos, before I bring this person on camera. I just want to make sure it's real. You can say that to me after giving me everything of marriage, a divorce, a baby,
Mhm.
like all of that. Jenna Lyons is overhyped. There's no way she should be on this show if we're not seeing a lesbian relationship. I'm not into it at all.
No, that's real because I feel like when they revealed this cast, that was kind of the big selling point with her. She's the first LGBTQ housewife or out housewife. I think because there are, there's some LGBTQ ladies, they just are not out and proud. Um,
Hey, Elena.
Who?
Hey, Atlanta.
Now, Carlos, look, you ain't about to get me in trouble. You've already made look, bitch, you've already made your path in this industry. You've blazed your trail. You are not gonna come on here blowing up my spot.
I didn't say no names. I said Atlanta,
Get
girl. That's
getting me
Atlanta has had
banned.
like a dozen women. Girl, bye.
Listen, they know you way more than me, so they're gonna spew all of their vitriol towards you anyway. But I agree. Jenna Lyons, I think the way that they view her on the show, I was like, she has the queen bee potential because of how they treat her on the show and the way that they view her. I personally don't see her as queen bee here, but I feel like they have a lot of respect and admiration for her. She's mysterious, and I think they really want to crack that egg. And so they're
Mm,
going to treat her like she is the queen bee or one of the queen bees, because I do think there's another one
me
with
too.
super potential. We always hear, I feel like we know the same. You know what? Let's take a pause from our game. On the count of three, we're gonna say who the actual queen bee is, okay?
Uh-huh.
1, 2, 3. Aaron.
Aaron. As always.
Okay,
As always. We get
right. We
it.
see each other. We see each other. So for Aaron, okay, great. Let's jump right back into the game then. Aaron, one word or phrase that comes to your mind when you think of Aaron.
Queen Bee, force multiplier so far. It's her show. She runs the girls. She knows how to host. She knows how to lead. She's beautiful. The first episode, let me tell you something, Jasmine. I watched the first episode, not all 42 minutes twice. I watched the first time all 42 minutes. I watched it again for like the first 15. I There is something about Aaron that I just love and I'm drawn to because I feel like she's genuinely herself. She's not trying hard. I
Mhm.
think she's bougie. She likes nice things. Her Hampton's house, she comes from money. She represents who I look at when I think of like next generation New York that comes from money, and she doesn't shy away from it. I think she has a lot of potential, and my eyes are glued to her every single time she's on camera.
100%. The first word that comes to my mind when I think of Erin is friends, because she gives me Jennifer Aniston down. You
Do you
don't
know
think so?
this? No, do you know this about me?
No.
Of all the white girls, Jennifer Aniston's number one on my list. Julia Roberts is on the list. Reese Witherspoon's on the list. Blake Lively's on the list. But Jennifer Aniston is my number one favorite white girl in the world.
So when you saw Erin, did you get Jennifer Aniston right away? No?
No, that's why you're such a genius because I just said to you, I'm drawn to her when
Yep.
she's on camera, but now I see it. She's Rachel from
Yes,
Friends.
she is. She 100% gives Jennifer Aniston. Okay, let's move down the list. So we already did Side, Jessel. We did Jenna. We did Erin. Bryn.
Wild card. This is the thing with Brand. Beautiful woman. Very
Gorgeous.
beautiful. Yes, honey. Face is beat. I like her a lot. She's a wild card. My concern with her, and we'll see. I was very unhappy that she was y'all. Oh, I'm so angry. How did I have
Go-
a housewife in the second? Y'all acting like we are second season in. I need to see these new girls to fall in love with them to know who they are. If I was producing that show, I would have said, we're not showing the entirety of this trip unless we cut some stuff out to add Bryn in.
Mhm.
I love Bryn. I think Bryn is great. Now, Bryn so far is thirsty, which you know me, I like thirsty. Don't give me dehydrated Deborah from Potomac.
Sure.
Give me, I like thirsty. So she gives me thirsty. I'm hoping she's not dehydrated, but I do like her. So the jury's still out on the oxygen levels of her.
Exactly, because my gut instinct is that she's gonna do too much. And I also hate when they get on and they just try way too hard, but she might surprise me. Like I said, she was barely in the second episode, so I don't know what to expect from her. And last but not least, Uba, who is the cousin of Chanel from Real Housewives. Yeah. So listen, I saw that on Twitter. I have not verified this. I have not looked at their
Right?
ancestry DNA results, so I don't know if that is accurate. But I saw it on Twitter. Her and Chanel from Real Housewives of Dubai are cousins, and so beautiful ladies. But you know how I feel about Dubai. And I know how you feel about Dubai.
Not the Real Housewives of Dubai. Um, so what's her name again? I'm sorry.
Uba. Uba.
Uba. Okay, I'm being very honest, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I love her. Aesthetically gorgeous. You know me, I love a leggy woman. She's gorgeous. Again, based upon the first two episodes, when Phaedra and Candy went to visit Chateau Charest in season 4, and Phaedra said, "There's nothing there. There's dirt and grass." She has everything going from herself on the outside. It's the insides that I'm worried about because I'm just not connecting. And I think I, in my opinion, I think she's one of those casting like, okay, we gotta have a black model in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And she fits that role. But other than that, I'm not into like I want to go to the grocery store. I was like, these are so stereotypical Real Housewives tropes. I don't want caviar. I'm going to the grocery store. Then you see her walking to the grocery store like a model. And then she goes in the kitchen, steals a can of beans. I was
Oh,
like, no
so
one does
cringe.
this in real life. And I lived in New York, guys, for 10 years. I've hung out with some hot women. None of us ever,
Mm-hmm.
especially a fancy restaurant, went to steal a can of beans. Like, guys, that's what we call like you doing too much for TV. So I know we're worried about Brent being thirsty, but to me, that was a moment for like, girl, you're trying to get a moment instead of like being present and being the moment. But your
You
thoughts?
I'm there with you because I think that Uba, she feels like a diversity hire. If you notice the first episode, we barely get to know her. We don't know much about her. Even when you look at the marketing and the promo for the show, like look at her on this picture, she's kind of off to the side. You know what I mean? I feel like she was
Yeah.
kind of thrown in there and I don't know where to go with her because she also feels like she doesn't necessarily fit with this group organically. And I get we're early in and they're all trying to figure each other out, but she just feels like the one who fits the least organically to me. Do you
Mm.
agree there?
Yeah, the thing is, she should and listen, call me hater, it's fine. The thing is this, the reason why you and I both, without talking to each other, because we don't do pre-interviews, we don't talk before
Right.
we do this. The reason why you and I like Erin the most is because we know the most about her. We
Mhm.
know her home life. We know what's going on in her world. She's very present. She's not trying to be anybody. And that's what we were desiring with this reboot. It's like, let's find real women in New York City. There's a lot of black supermodels or black
Yeah.
models who have relationships, personal story, what's going on in their lives. So we got to stop casting people just because they're beautiful. You
Yeah.
know, we got to stop doing that. Cynthia Bailey lasted because she had a rich personal story. She was engaged to Peter Thomas. He has
Mhm.
financial instability. Her mother and sister hid the marriage certificate. All of her friends said, "Don't marry this guy." It wasn't just that we got this single woman in Atlanta who was a supermodel and she's on the show. No, she had a personal story. New York was always on the chopping block for a lot of years because those ladies ran out of personal story. So you mean to tell me y'all gonna cast some more women? You got a lesbian housewife who told y'all you ain't never seen my lover, and now you have a black supermodel on the show who's like, I don't know what she's doing, what she's about.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. And speaking of the last ladies, I do want to ask you. So we had Ebony K. Williams on Reality with the King, like shortly after the news broke for the reboot and Legacy. And then Ramona, have you spoken with any of the former New York housewives about the reboot?
Good question. I have not
Okay.
because there's no need to because I know they don't like it. Let's one thing I do, Jazz, I always try to relate it to everyday people, right? Um, Nobody wants to see their replacement, regardless if
Right.
you left on your own or got fired. There's still residue left over when it comes to like this person replaced me or these people replaced me. So I already know how they feel about it. But I will say this, I don't see Ebony K. Williams fitting with this cast,
Right.
which is why my advice when we interviewed her was I would love to see like who's Ebony real friends are because I just think
Hmm.
we need a group of women who are really friends. The jury's still out, but I will say this: it was a very, very, very bad move to have a girls' trip and to let the world know in episode 2 that we're never seeing Jenna Lyons' girlfriend.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with you. Closing out, two more questions. The first one, do you have any predictions for storylines or craziness for this season of The Real Housewives of New York?
I think you're not going to get anything from Jenna Lyons. I think Jenna Lyons is still struggling being on the show. She gives me during the headlights, what did I sign up for? Was this a smart move to do? Like she's constantly overthinking. She's not present to me at all. She's just there and she's observing the ladies in this social experiment we call a reality show. So I definitely think you're not going to get much from Jenna Lyons at all. I think is going to be very overhyped. I think you're going to get Bryn versus Aaron. And let me tell you something. At least give me Bryn versus Aaron. I want to see it because their baby is going to give you old school Bethany versus Ramona, like the
Oh.
two different classes of lifestyle and how they.
Mm.
Yeah. So I'm hoping we get that at least. And when it comes to the rest of them, to your earlier point, Jessel, I'm hoping we get to see what's really happening in that household. Now, I will say this the best thing about the second episode was the revelation that they have not had sex in a year. Like, that was great. In a
Sure.
perfect world, though, I would have loved for that to come out via the couple first so that when she told the girls, we as the audience was able to be in on the joke. But
Mhm.
seeing the shock of is like, well, dang, now she's wearing a lingerie and we don't see her getting with her man. So, that's that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a good call out with the Bethany versus Ramona with Aaron and Bryn because I tried my hardest to not compare them to any of the former
Mhm.
ladies because I was like, they deserve a clean slate. I'm gonna put a pin in that because I want to see that too. I think that would be really interesting because I feel like Aaron has some fire in her when she went to the party and Jessa was like, your bangles look like weapons, and she said, I might have to punch a bitch or something like that. I was like, oh,
Lava, I she's
come on.
she's a natural. So whoever cast her, fantastic job. Seriously.
Yeah. So I predict that Uba is gonna be a one season on this. I don't yeah. I think that she was cast for us to be really interested
Oh,
and locked
us?
in. Yep, us.
Okay.
To be interested in and locked in. But if things keep going the way that they've been going, like I said, my gut feeling is just like she's not gonna be around after this season. I predict Jesso. Okay. Just on her husband, we either are going to see them divorce in season 2 or talk about separating in season 2, or she's not going to come back for season 2 because they're going to want to go through their marital
Yeah.
issues off camera because she comes from an Indian family. They're conservative. They don't want their business aired all over the place. So I feel like with Jessel, we're either going to see all of it or we're going to see none of it. So I predict we'll kind of go through the roller coaster with her marriage this season, and then by season 2, she's gonna make a decision to either let us see the dissolution of the marriage or she's gonna be like, "You know what? I don't want this," because I don't know that they're gonna last. And I never wish for anybody's marriage to end, but it's
Right.
like based on what we see, and obviously it's edited, but the fact that from just the few minutes that we were able to see, none of it seemed positive, and that's yo, man, like, come on, girl. So those
Yeah.
are my
No, I agree with
predictions.
you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm hoping that it works because if it does work, this Real Housewives of New York City reboot, it will definitely open the conversations at least
Mhm.
to do that to other cities.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you, that's my last question for you. So are there other cities within the Real Housewives ecosystem, the franchise? Are there other cities that need a reboot? And if so, which cities?
Um, Look, I've said it on my podcast before. I would love to see a new Atlanta. Um,
Completely new or just some new I mean, when I say like a reboot, I'm like everyone's gone and they start from ground zero.
if I had to pick a Real Housewives city to literally start 6 new women the way they're doing with New York City, there's just a new crop of women in Atlanta that just aren't tapped into. Like
Mhm.
the real estate agents, the social media people, the blogger, the podcast hosts, the influencers, the financial experts. Like it's one of those things where that is a world that I want to be tapped into. And look, you could find those women and add them, but I think what's missing when you add so many new people is the connections that they have. So if I had to choose, I would not mind seeing Atlanta. I'm not saying do that tomorrow or next season.
Mhm.
I'm saying if that was ever to be something that would be a conversation, I would love for that conversation to start in Atlanta.
Okay, that's interesting. I somewhat agree. I think Atlanta still has a couple of ladies that we can keep and just bring in some new girls around them. I said the same thing when we talked about Potomac. I think Potomac can do a major overhaul and keep a couple of the women and just get rid of the ones that are never going to give us more than they've already given us. I think Salt Lake City, only because I don't watch Salt Lake City. So I feel like y'all need
Me
new people to
neither.
even get me interested.
Girl, they're
Um,
already on radar. That's gag worthy. Child.
And I know this is also another one of your babies though. I stopped watching Jersey,
Yeah.
and I feel like
Me
Jersey
too.
could benefit from starting from scratch. Like everybody leaves, it's done, and it's a completely new Jersey. Do you agree?
It's funny. So when I was contemplating which city, it was between Atlanta and Jersey. And
Mhm.
the reason why I said Atlanta is only because I personally know Atlanta women
Right.
who would kill it.
Mhm.
I do think Jersey would be second. I literally think they drain every ounce of what Jersey could be. I do like the two new girls, Danielle and Rachel. I did stop watching after episode 2 of last season, but I love the reunion. And I want to see Teresa on a spinoff, giving me Kardashian, because she has funny daughters. I'm intrigued by her personal story. The rest of them just do not have personal story. So I agree with you about Jersey as well.
Yes. Well, listen, are you gonna keep watching New York?
This the thing. I stopped watching Atlanta a couple of episodes ago because, and this is just me. I can't watch a show because it's on. You know, like some people say,
Mhm.
it's on, but I'm not watching. Girl, my time is valuable. I got books to read. I got a business to build. Like I got a lot going on. So if they don't hook, I'm gonna give them at least until episode 4, meaning New York, only because unfortunately they're still in the Hamptons next week. So I'll give them
Snooze
a
fest.
pass. I'm so mad at that. But if it's not good, oh, I stopped watching Salt Lake City. I
Mhm.
stopped watching Jersey. I stopped watching Atlanta. So yeah, if they don't give me what I need, then I won't be coming back.
Same here. I'm not afraid to jump ship if it's not giving what it's supposed to give. But either way, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for coming on to talk about this with me. Like I said, most of my earlier subscribers came from your show, so they know how to find you. But for the people who will tune in who might not know where to find you, please let them know.
Yes, baby. So I have a podcast called Reality with the King. You can get that on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. I am also on social media at the Carlos King underscore. Love and Marriage Detroit airs every Saturday, 8 o'clock, 7
Yes.
Central on, as well as Bell Collective every Friday, 9 o'clock, 8 Central. And follow me so you can get all the updates.
Absolutely, because Carlos announces a new show, I feel like every month. So follow him so you can keep up with everything that's going on at Kingdom Reign ENT. Again, thank you so much, friend. Love you. I will
Love
talk to you guys
you.
soon.